So when someone comes in, I do need to know their diagnoses, which I call labels. We call them labels here. We kind of have a no labels policy loosely in that we really don't encourage you to come in and claim your illness, claim your diagnosis. We want you to come here and claim your healing. Now, can I promise you healing? No, but I can give you a better chance and I can help you shift the dashboard so that all the lights are coming on so that you can start to make your own decisions about what feels right for you rather than constantly Dr. Google or support groups or people who are telling you, you know what you need. And then next thing you know, you spent $30,000 on supplements. You don't know if they're working, or you're taking medications and told you're going to be on them for life, but you don't even really know because now you've got the different symptom. So we're really trying to move away from the labels. And I want to hear your symptoms, like how, and I want to hear how is it impacting your life? But the biggest thing I want to hear is what is your goal? Like, what do you want to accomplish? We have a lot of technology here. If you really boil it down to what we do, you need to make sure that your cells are functioning properly. Because if your cells are not functioning, then you cannot use your water and your nutrients. You cannot create all of those biochemicals that you need to help run all of the pathways that go between organs and the brain and the nervous system. So it's a really, really complex system. To me, the body is the most brilliant piece of machinery ever created, and nothing will ever match it. When we focus on balancing the body instead of forcing it into something, and we align our goals and our thoughts and our desires, that is when these things can work. I tell the story of a therapist that I worked with, and he was really good. And he said to me, what are you grateful for? Now, my walker was sitting over there. I was 96 pounds wet. I could barely like move around during the day, light stimulus, everything just amped up my nervous system. So sometimes I wasn't exactly the nicest responder in the world. And I just was like in a very, in a way I probably wouldn't do it now. It's like, what are you talking about? Grateful. Would you be grateful for this? Like I was angry that he asked me that question. Now also, I didn't have an answer. The way my brain worked when it shut down is I would get angry because I would rather people see my anger than my deficits in my brain. And so he says, okay. He said, we're going to come at this a different way. He said, let me think about that. So he waited because I don't think he wanted me to make the connection. And he said later, what would you not want to give up today? I want you to go home. That's your homework. And I said, I don't need to go home and do that. I can tell you right now, it's water because I'm always thirsty. He said, okay, water. He said, but I still want you to go home. And every day I want you to try to find one thing that you would not want to give up. And he said, write it down. And at that time, I had an injury with my hand, and writing with a pencil was hard. And so I chose to, I don't know, it wasn't a plan, but I'm standing in the shower and the steam, and I'm like, okay, water. So I wrote it. And for weeks, I just started writing. And my showers were getting long enough that I was running out of hot water. And my ex-husband was complaining. But there came a point where I realized, oh my God, that's my gratitude list. So sometimes if we go in a little bit of an indirect way, we can find the place where we're willing to open up and then trust that something might work. So sometimes it takes a minute to get there.
Well, that's the thing that I love about Novum and working with you is the fact that you are so invested in the person and not so much that the technology takes preference, the person takes preference, that they're the most important part of this whole process. And I think you have said it quite clearly that through your own experiences, you recognize what people need. It's not something that it's not book learning. It's not somebody told you to do this. You live it. And that's what I really love about it, and I love about Novum because all the people there are just so giving of themselves that they want to help whomever comes through that door, whether they do any of the therapies or not. They just want to help. And I think that is a beautiful place to come to, and it is beautiful to look at anyway because the interior is very nice. What would a first visit for somebody who came in to Novum look like? Just how can you get people to picture themselves coming into doing this?
Well, that's an interesting question because we don't have specific protocols. So when somebody contacts me, again, it goes back to um, sort of the beginning of what we were developing here. Now, we have morphed a lot in the last year, and we keep adding new things, and we've got like exciting trainings all the time. And I consider myself the luckiest person in terms of what I do. I'm doing exactly what I believe that, I was supposed to do. It gives purpose to everything that I've been through, but I can't do it by myself. And I ended up finding the perfect staff. Pam and Scarlett are amazing, and I could not do this without them. And Dr. Eugene Sambatero, the biological dentist who owns the dental office in this park, this is his center. This was his dream. He
Right,
was
who's
my
also been on Sovereign Sisters podcast, yes.
Yes, he has. And, I met him in 2013 when I was still walking with a walker and still unable to think my way out of a box. And they showed me a lot in their office about how I wanted to feel when I went to someone for a proper diagnosis and treatment. I had quite an oral health journey that, I'm not going to lie, it was extensive. And at the time, it felt untenable. But looking back now and looking at all the people, because I also am an oral systemic consultant, so I help a lot of people, and most of my clients are remote, and many of them travel here. So whether it's my clients coming in, whether it's local people coming in, when they contact me, it goes back to that. What are your challenges? What do you already know about your diagnoses? What's your goal? What are you willing to do? And the three things that I have been saying for 10 years that needs to be looked at is logistics, your emotions, and your finances. Because, well, let's just go to dental instead of here. You can't start off throwing implants at people before you find out, is that right for them? Are they in a place to do that? And it's the same thing with these therapies here. So I've taken a lot of what I learned, being a mentee of Dr. Sam, and applied that to this aspect of healing. So that's the oral, and this is the systemic. So when you ask, like, what can they kind of expect when they walk in the door, what they can expect is for us to start where they are and find out what they need, what they want. And then we go from there. We don't have any specific protocols written out. And then, once we come up with a plan, we do packages for people. So we, try to give breaks for financial breaks when we can for things that they maybe do in a package versus once. So we do everything we can to make this a place where somebody feels at home and like they're getting a benefit.